Hi everyone, Miss Kennedy here, standing outside on a rainy Tuesday, and I wanted to get on here and talk to you about how you're going to be interacting with the band room space and the school space in general when you come to the school on Thursday and Friday in order to return some of your band supplies. Now, hopefully by this point you've seen an email from one of your band directors, and it's also posted in the team space, a link to a form. This form was sent out for the purposes of collecting data in regards to what school-owned instruments you have, what uniform pieces you have, and what method book you may be using. All of these things are band-owned equipment, and we need to collect them for the purposes of inventory and for general safekeeping and safety. So please refer to that form. Please make sure that you filled it out. It was sent via email and also posted on forms. And please also refer to the time period at which you can come and drop off those items. So the three main components that you will be dropping off will include uniform if you're not returning to band next year. It would include your method book if you have one, or your folders if you have a senior jazz folder. And finally, if you have a school-owned instrument, that will also be returned as well. We are not permitting school-owned instruments to be loaned out this summer for a variety of reasons, which I'm sure you can all understand. Also, if you have any mutes or reel books or any other miscellaneous band equipment, this would be the time, Thursday or Friday, to return those items. Okay? Now, the reason I'm outside is because when you are here at the school on Thursday or Friday at the appropriate time, you are going to be interacting with our space differently. And we want to make sure that you are spending as little time as possible inside the physical school building. As a result, I'm going to walk you through what it will look like when you come later this week. Okay. So, I am outside between the gym and the portables, and this is the space where we are going to be lining up to return our items. Now, on Thursday or Friday, this door may be open, and if so, we can continue the line along this wall here like you're lining up for the cafeteria at lunchtime. In the event that these doors are closed, there is a door right here. That one could be used as well. Now, when you're lining up outside to wait your turn to return your method book or your uniform or your school-owned instrument, please make sure that you are following social and physical distancing rules. I know that this is incredibly challenging and we are desperate for connection, some of us, and it's hard to maintain that physical distance, but we urge you strongly. In fact, there will be people out here making sure that you are sticking to those 2 meters distance from people. Okay, so please respect the physical distancing boundaries that we have in place. Okay, so again, you'll be lining up on this space and waiting for your turn to enter the small band room. The whole point of this is that you are not entering the school except for the band room. Okay? As you approach the small band room door, you will not enter until you are invited. Okay? So when you get to this spot, please pause and wait for a director to signal that it is safe for you to come in. Again, we want to limit how many people are in our space at a time, so you may have to wait your turn. Okay? And that's one of the reasons why we have specific times set up for method book return. Now, when you're standing at this door, I want you to notice the white arrows that are on the ground. There are 3 potential things that you need to interact with when you're coming into the small band room. Okay? And the first is your method book. So let's see how that works. Following the arrows, entering the small band room after you've been invited, you see a series of bins. Each of these bins has been labeled as grade 8 method book, grade 9, the Hovey book for senior wind, the I recommend book for senior wind, red folders and black folders for senior jazz. Okay. So when you approach, your number one job is to return that method book or that folder. You can place it in the bin that it belongs to, and the director, who will be standing near the office, will check your name off a list to signal that you have indeed returned your method book or your folder. Now, for many of you, that will be the only piece of band-owned equipment that you need to return. If you're coming for band next year and you don't have a school-owned instrument, then you're done. Great, it was nice to see you. We'll wave at you, we'll say hello, but unfortunately we do have to ask you to leave. And at that point, you can follow the arrow through the middle hallway and into the large band room. And when you do, you will exit back into the courtyard, and I'll show you that path later. Let's back up and pretend like you have more things that you need to return to the band department. So after you've returned your method book or your folder, if you are not returning to band, you will have a uniform to return. And that's what these clothing racks are for. Now let's make it clear, if you are returning to any part of band next year, hang on to all the pieces of the uniform that you have, and we can deal with those in September. You are only returning your uniform if you are not returning to band. That's why the grade 12 rack is full of uniforms, because those students are graduating, they will not be returning to band. But again, on the floor, you can see things are labeled for grade 8 uniforms, grade 9 uniforms, grade 10, and grade 11 uniforms. So please make sure that you are putting your uniform on the right rack. That will help us when we have to do our inventory and when we have to begin laundering your items and making sure that you have returned everything that you need to. So please watch the floor, watch the arrows, put your things in the right place. Now, for many of you, that might be all that you need to return: your method book and your uniform. And in that case, after step 2, again, we're going to ask you to exit through the middle hallway, through the large band room, and out into the courtyard. But some of you may have a third piece of equipment that you need to return, so let's show you how to do that. After you've returned your uniform, following the white arrows on the ground, you see this red square and a table. This red square here is asking you to stop. And at this table, a director will be here to help you out. This part of the room is dedicated to school-owned instruments and returning them. Now, there are two possibilities when you return your school-owned instrument. Either your school-owned instrument is in good condition and it can go in the storage room on the shelves labeled for those instruments, but in the off chance that it does need some repair, it will be staying over here on these shelves. Okay? And your director at this table will ask you, does your instrument need repair, or is it in good condition? And they will direct you where to go from then. So please, when you approach this red space, stop and wait for instructions from a band director. Okay? At this point, if you have any mutes or real books to return, this would be the place to do them as well. Okay? So you've stopped in the square, you have returned your method book, your uniform, and your school-owned instrument. So what do you do now? Well, now you need to exit the room. And like I was saying earlier, we need to make sure that we are limiting the space that people are interacting with. We want to make sure that you spend as much time outside of the school as possible in this instance. So our main doors, the small band room and the large band room doors into the hallway, will be locked and they will be inaccessible to you. We are asking everybody to please exit through the middle hallway. So again, you'll follow the white arrows, which will take you through the middle hallway and into the large band room. Okay. The custodial staff has a huge job to do right now, and every place that a staff member or a student comes in contact with needs to be cleaned deeply and properly every single time. So that's one of the reasons why we are being so diligent about this, and one of the reasons why we're asking you to be careful and thoughtful with how you interact with our space. Okay, so once you get into the large band room, it would be lovely to hang out with you and chat with you and spend time with you. And please know that we so desperately want to engage in those conversations with you, and we miss teaching with you, and we miss learning with you, and we miss interacting with you. But unfortunately, after you've returned the parts of the band equipment that you need to return, we do have to ask you to leave. So again, following the arrows, you'll walk through the large band room and you'll see the exit located back into the courtyard, at which point we will ask you to leave and return to your vehicle or walk home or whatever you need to do. Please know that we miss you, and we wish that we were playing with you, and we have been talking a lot about what September could look like for the band program, and the three of us directors have a lot of ideas that we're really excited about, and we hope that you are too. We know that making music and being part of band isn't really what it was, and we are making some steps, making some brainstorming essentially to see what we can do so that it's better and different and more engaging and more like band in September. So we hope we can get back to playing with you soon, and we miss you, and we hope you are doing well, and take care and have a wonderful summer, and we will talk to you again soon. Bye.